It was the fall of 1932, one of those years when America felt like it was running out of breath. Factories closing, trains running empty, and men standing in soup lines wearing suits they'd gotten married in. But in a small Pennsylvania town called Hollow Creek, people still waved to each other on the main street. They went to church on Sundays and nobody locked their doors at night. That all changed the week the Millers disappeared. The Millers were 5 people. Edward Miller, a carpenter, quiet, decent, always paid his debts. Margaret, his wife, a Sunday school teacher who made the best apple pie in town. Their 3 kids, Clara 12, Henry 9, and little June who had just turned 6. They lived in a small white farmhouse outside town, the kind of place that looked peaceful from the road. On October 21, 1932, the Miller family sat down to dinner with a neighbor, Mrs. Daly. She later told police that everything seemed ordinary. Edward talked about finishing a porch for a local shop owner. Margaret was sewing Halloween costume. When Mrs. Daly left around 9 p.m., the Millers were alive and WO. By the next morning, they were gone. The milk was still on the porch. The breakfast table was set, plates, silverware, a jar of jam, toast burnt black in the toaster. Edward's work boots were still by the door. The family car, a Ford Model A, was still in the driveway. But there was no sign of anyone. No struggle. No broken glass. No footprints leading away. Sheriff Daniels said it looked like they had stepped out for a minute and forgot to come back. The search began that afternoon. Dozens of townsfolk combed the nearby woods. They drained part of Hollow Creek Lake. No bodies. No blood. Not even a shoe. The only strange thing anyone found was a set of handprints, small like a child's, pressed into the dust on the barn door. But they were too high up for any of the Miller children to have made. When investigators came back later that week, the prints were gone. Over the next few days, letters started arriving at the local post office. They were addressed to Edward Miller, Route 2. All were postmarked from towns over 200 miles away. Inside each envelope was a single sheet of paper. Type. Each said the same thing. We are safe. Don't look for us. No signatures. No explanation. And no one ever saw who dropped them off. By November, the story hit the regional newspapers. The family that vanished, the headlines said. Some blamed bandits. Others whispered about the Hollow Creek curse. You see, 15 years earlier, another family had vanished from the same area. The Harveys. Same story. Full dinner table, car in the driveway, no goodbye. That case was never solved either. Local legend said the 2 farms were built on old mining tunnels. Some folks thought the ground just opened up and took them. Others believed something older lived in those tunnels. The sheriff didn't buy any of that. But he couldn't explain what the mailman found 2 months later. Just before Christmas, a letter arrived addressed not to Edward, but to Clara Miller, the eldest daughter. It was postmarked from Cleveland, Ohio. The writing was uneven, almost shaky. Mama says we can't come home yet. Daddy says not to worry. I miss the cat. There's snow here. Love, Clara. The paper smelled faintly of smoke. And on the back, in small pencil letters, tell Mrs. Daly we're sorry for the noise. The Cleveland police searched every hotel and boarding house in the city. No Millers. No Clara. No trace. By 1933, the depression deepened, and the case faded into rumor. People moved on. The farmhouse sat empty. Until one winter night in 1936, almost 4 years later, when a man driving through Hollow Creek nearly ran off the road. He swore he saw 5 people standing by the Miller house. A man, a woman, and 3 children, all dressed in old-fashioned clothes. When he slowed down to look, they were gone. In 1947, a new family moved into the property. They said the first few months were quiet. Then the phone started ringing, once, always at 9:17 p.m. Every time the line was dead. One night, Mrs. Graham, the new owner, picked up and heard a young girl whisper, "We can't come home yet." After that, they moved out within the week. Years later, a construction crew came to demolish the old Miller farmhouse. Under the floorboards, they found a small box wrapped in oilcloth. Inside, a child's hair ribbon, a silver cross, and a folded piece of paper. Written in pencil, faint but readable, "We're all together now." No one ever found any remains. The case was never closed. To this day, the local library keeps a thin file marked, "The Miller Family, Vanished 1932." Every October, someone leaves 5 white candles on the old property line. No one knows who. And if you drive through Hollow Creek after dark, locals say sometimes you'll see lights in the woods. Not headlights, not lanterns, just 5 small flickers, moving slowly toward the road.